All right, everyone, and welcome back to another Dragon Ball Legends video. My name is DFree, and for today's video, we are going to be ranking all of the Shallot forms. Now, wait, before you think you know the answer, I just want to say this is not Hero Shallot. With Hero Shallot, you just go down, start from the bottom, work your way up. It's very easy. The reason why it's very easy is because they release them over a staggered amount of time. They drop one here, then they'd wait another year to drop this one, etc. So obviously, when you consider in power creep, etc., obviously, Super Saiyan God would be the best one. However, in the sparking rarity case, they revamped all those forms, etc. Even the base form in all the natural base form that doesn't transform is its own character, and then all the base forms and you know, in the transformations also a little bit different. But the point is, they didn't do that stagger thing here. So you could actually, there's a really, really good reason to flip-flop between some of these forms. Example, Super Saiyan 2 Shallot has endurance. Yeah, he can revive when his HP reaches 0, like all these characters. Still a really strong effect, right? So obviously, if you want something like that, you want more utility, you want some healing, he's your guy. If you want to have more well-roundedness, Super Saiyan God is your answer. He kind of functions extremely similarly to the Hero version, to be honest. Super Saiyan 3 is by far the best damage output one here, and he does some fun stuff like nullify cover changes on transformation, get the full Vanish gauge back. The point is, it's not like Hero, where you could, for the record, with Hero, you could still kind of flip to Super Saiyan 2 if you wanted some of his support and stuff. But Super Saiyan 3 just was outclassed in every way with versus Super Saiyan God. It's not like that. So I want to know in the comments down below what your ranking is for Shallot. We're going to go through the video. We're going to start from the bottom and work our way up, and then I will give you guys my own ranking. But also beside that, in a separate comment, because we want to pad those comment numbers, boys. In a separate comment, though, in all seriousness, be sure to comment which is your favorite form, because that is also another thing. Because I think above all else, Shallot is not like top 3, 4, 5 character in the game. Even though he has some fun utility, he has light element, I don't think he's able to hit there yet, because Ultras are in the game now, and it's just very different than when he was a hero and he popped in with Super Saiyan God, which was up there. But the point is, I think since you can flip between all of these forms, there's actually a real reason to use all of them. My favorite are Super Saiyan 2 and Super Saiyan 3, right? So that's the answer. Above all else, I think I'm actually kind of underwhelmed by God. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but I was hoping God would be better, but it's all right. Let's talk about it and we'll get through it. So starting off from the base form without a transformation. Now, this guy is kind of interesting. The main team he's going to be used on is like Game Originals. Obviously, for the record, obviously you could put him on like any team you want. You could put him in a leader slot. You could run a traditional Saiyan team, but he's really designed to be more or less on a Game Originals team. What is that team? It's like Zaha, it's Giblet. That's pretty much it. There are some other characters in there, like I believe some minions are in there, like the Cybermen variants and stuff like that. I think there's the 1000-Day Bulma in there, but it's not a real thing, right? It's mainly just going to be Zaha and Giblet. So when they give us finally a Super Saiyan God Giblet, for example, maybe we can build that team out and it becomes nice. It could become a fun team. However, I would probably just use a different form of Shallot over this one. I don't know. Anyway, what he does here on main ability, without a transformation, he restores health, gets ki, a damage increase, and he gets a permanent draw speed bonus. Also, he gives allies a permanent 25% damage increase that can't be canceled. That's really strong, man. That is amazing support just to passively throw your allies. And then if they're a Game Original character, they get another 15%. He even shortens sub counts. So Shallot's main ability is amazing. I wish this guy had the ability to nullify cover change. He doesn't. He has his own built-in cover change here to reduce damage, and then he has a strike version of a knockback as well that combos into blues like all of these characters do. Somebody was telling me that there was nullified cover changes on some of these forms. Some of them have it in different ways, but like base Shallot never really has it, unfortunately. This gives him a strike card here. The blue card is up to you, by the way. This isn't the best one, but I will be doing a video going over the best ones. There are different best ones depending on the forms. Not a ton of them, but there are different ones, so stay tuned for that. But anyway, we go ahead and take a look down here. He does some interesting stuff, 80 and 60 in terms of damage and damage cut to start off with. Randomly draws a new card, extra strike damage, gets some ki there. When allies are defeated, he starts healing, getting another 70% increase. Also applies the following effects himself. Once 3 counts have elapsed, he gets some extra stuff there. So kind of a delayed bonus. He gets an extra 60% damage, which is nice. Again, the knockback on strikes that combos into blues. And then also when he changes cover, he'll destroy one of your cards and force draw a blue card, which is really nice because if he gets the knockback, that's a free free. It's basically like, you know how Gogeta Ultra gets that when you use a blast on him, he force draws a blue card and just throws it back in your face. It's the same thing. It's basically a cover change. That's what that mechanic is for Gogeta, and this obviously is designed to function on a cover change. So yeah, Gogeta has a built-in free cover change mid combo. Anyway, moving on. Also, he starts healing allies and gets some extra cut, and there's some more cut. No, 40% of damage received when changing cover as well. He heals that. So Shallot has a lot of potential. But this guy, if I'm being honest, base form Shallot is basically just your run-of-the-mill 1% sparking that's the side character on a banner, right? I mean, think something like, he's better than this guy, but think something like Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta from the anniversary last year. He's better than him, right? Think Red Pan. He's not as no, base Shallot's not as good as Red Pan. It's not close. But consider like Red Pan or Blue Zamasu, that type of character, but not to their same quality. So this guy is just going to more or less be a character you don't use very often. Super Saiyan Shallot is a little bit interesting because he's a Super Saiyan 1 character, so he can take advantage of those Bardock bonuses. This guy also has some fun stuff in his kit, like his green card is extremely powerful, and he is a character that I think the blue card for him should, again, stay tuned for the other video, but a blue card like the one that's on Blue TN, where he force draws a green card afterwards, is extremely powerful for a character like Super Saiyan 1 Shallot. So Super Saiyan 1 Shallot, for the most part, the thing about him is that, well, Shallot, pretty much all of them, is going to have the same base form. They'll have a little bit of a difference here, but that's mainly it. They're all going to have basically the same base form. But Super Saiyan Shallot, we take a look at his green. Draws a blue card next, restores key, and gets 70% vanish back 3 times. 70% is a ton. It's so much better than the 60% variants. The 60% versions of these are garbage. It's hilarious, but that 10% makes a massive freaking difference. I hate 60%. But yeah, basically gets a full vanish back post combo is what that equates to. Very nice. We don't care about the blue card because that's at your own discretion. He draws a green card here, restores health, picks up a draw speed level and card cost down. We see right here with the main ability. They all kind of have some of the same stuff when you start looking at some of the transformations too, because the base kit is the same, but this is very different here. So after transforming, he gets buffs and gives a free Dragon Ball. I love that. Also, this is why I said kind of the same as the base form. When he enters, he draws a card, gets a strike buff, blah, 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 same stuff. And then also, according to the number of counts elapsed after transforming, he gets damage and special move damage increases. So this Shallot is designed to hit like a truck with his special move, especially. Ha! Pun intended. And also spam that green card when he gets the chance to do it. So we take a look down here as well. Again, this guy actually has a knockback versus blast arts. So some of them have it versus strike, some of them have it versus blast. He does combo into the strike, the special move afterwards. And then also he gets another draw speed bonus down here, some more damage, and then receive cut as well down there when he enters the battlefield, or if there's a defeated battle member. So nice to see that too. And then down here at the bottom again, another Dragon Ball. Applies the following effects itself when this character enters the battlefield if there's a defeated battle member. He draws a blue, gets some key, and gets another Dragon Ball. So he does some fun stuff, like, just to recap, the draw speed bonuses. He will get 2 Dragon Balls for free. Well, one of them has to have a defeated ally, but okay, 2 Dragon Balls. He gets a decent amount of damage increases, decent amount of cut, and then he is going to be spamming greens and blues all game. So that is, and then again, the green does give him 3 vanishes back. Not a full 100%, but if you played right, you should get a vanish back pretty instantly after using it. So this guy is really, really strong. And then again, when you consider that his best team is going to be alongside Super Saiyan Bardock, I did use him on a Team Bardock video, and you can check that out, links down below in the description. But yeah, that's his best team. So Super Saiyan 2 Shallot, again, a lot of the same stuff here, restores health and key, and then transforms. I'm not really going through these, so forgive me if there's anything else there, but I don't believe there really is. I think they all just kind of have the same stuff. Yeah, they all have pretty much mostly the same stuff. After transforming, this guy becomes really interesting. As you see, he picks up endurance. Yeah, endurance effect is crazy utility. This guy is basically utility slash support, and that's it. This guy probably has the lowest damage potential out of all of them. I mean, aside from base maybe, but even base may out damage this one. But this guy does insane support and utility. So his green card restores key, gets a little bit of damage, shortens ally sub counts by 3. Check, check, check. That's an amazing effect, which one of these other Shallots did that on his main ability. I think it was base, right? And then also cancels allies abnormal conditions and downgrades. Amazing support there. Speaking of support, clicking your main reloads your entire hand, restores your ki, gets a card cost down, or strike arts cost down, and then also 35% to ally strike damage for 25 counts. Now, it is not as good as base. Base does 25% permanently. So, and it's not strike only. Bases is a lot better. It's less, but it's permanent, and it's not just strike, but this is still really solid. We take those. That's a W. All right, we come down here. After transforming, he gets some damage, and he gets the endurance effect. Also, when he enters the battlefield, he gets the card draw, the strike damage, the ki, and he picks up a draw speed level. The other ones weren't picking up a draw speed level right there in that spot. But anyway, we come down here. Per defeated battle member when he enters, he restores some health, gets damage, and some ki recovery. As last man, on that last entry, he's going to be getting 80% damage and 80% ki recovery. However, they are cancelable effects. He does a strike-based cover change that again combos into blue cards, applies bowling effects to allies when he switches out. So again, a traditional support effect here. He gives allies ki, damage, and ki recovery. And if they're a game original or Super Saiyan 2, they'll get damage and crit rate. So he was always touted as being like Super Saiyan 1 Bardock, the blue one, light, like a light version of him. I think he's a lot better now because of the Zenkai and the different support that he can offer. He also offers a standard support package right here. However, you can keep proccing it with switches from him, so that's nice to see. And then the bottom portion, you're probably never going to use that for the most part. However, the key thing with this guy is that he, Super Saiyan 2 Shallot, is the perfect ally slash support for super, well, support's a little subjective, but it's because they're mainly a range type. But anyway, for the tag Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta. The funny thing is, that spot was supposed to be held by Angel Vegeta's Zenkai, but they purposely went out of their way not to Zenkai awaken Angel Vegeta. They did 2 yellows, and it wasn't Angel Vegeta or Transforming Vegito, for the record. But yeah, I'm not mad at that. They chose 2 yellows I actually like. Anyway, this guy, best team is going to be alongside the tag Super Saiyan 3s. He provides them an extra outlet for defense if they need that in terms of having the endurance, and he provides them with a lot of support and stuff like that, utility. So he is a nice pair for them. Now, Super Saiyan 3 Shallot. At first, I was pretty conflicted. I was really kind of like, oh man, he's this or that. But oh my god, this guy is insane. I titled my video showcase of him saying, oh, he's the best character in the game for like 10 counts or something like that. And it was like joking, but it kind of wasn't. But it is, because there's characters like Rose and Kid Buu, but those ultras, right? And Beast Gohan a little bit too. The way that this guy functions is, his peak scenario is directly after transforming, because as you see, he actually has a main ability. Unlike the other ones that are just transforming, he has some stuff here. And then there's a small window after transforming where he can also pop his second main ability and get the effects here, and he just goes insane for a short, like 5-second burst, dude. It's really crazy. So main ability for this guy, he transforms into Super Saiyan 3 for 60 counts. He restores health and ki. However, he gets another full 100% vanish restore here. Insane effect. Also, he gets a nullify cover change effect here. We haven't seen this effect on any other Shallot, unless, like I said, it's on some base form and I'm not seeing it because somebody was telling me that. I just didn't see it anywhere. They were saying it was on like the green cards, and so I don't, all the green cards are the same on these guys. I don't know. Anyway, nullify cover change is very, very vital to his kit, because this guy does an insane amount of damage. The stats don't really do him justice. However, another thing to consider is that this Shallot is only like 6-star. When they give us, look at that, when they give us a 14, he's gonna go insane, bro. So here's the deal. His green gives strike arts draw, some damage, restores ki, all pretty standard stuff. The greens and blues on all these Shallots are largely the same. Well, the blues for sure, obviously. Restores health with the second main ability, restores ki, gets damage, a 30% damage increase, card cost down, card draw speed, nullify endurance effects for 20 counts on everything that he will do. Very, very powerful. I had a situation with him where I entered the battlefield post-transformation. They then couldn't cover change me. They couldn't cover change because the main ability when you transform to Super Saiyan 3 gives you 10 seconds of nullification on that effect. And then they tried to switch in, I think it was Yellow Super Vegito, and I just, in that combo, ripped him to shreds because I did a lot of damage. And when he uses cards, he starts getting extra buffs for using cards, by the way, which I believe one of the other forms might have had that, but I don't know that we covered it. Anyway, as he's using cards, he was doing more damage basically, and I killed that character, and then I got the nullify all in one combo because 20 counts here is a long time. So very, very powerful character. He gets 70% damage, card draw speed, and then this guy, you know why he also is the hardest hitting one? Because he also does stuff like this, minus 10% to sustain damage cut effects. So like, this isn't coming off of him. It's not a debuff. This is an upgrade. So this right here, damage penetration or defense penetration on enemies is insane. It's an insane effect. They have to be very careful with this. That's why you don't see it too often in a lot of places in a passive or something like that, because it really makes enemies get shredded to pieces. So this, in conjunction with everything else he has, really was a lot. Also, when he enters the battlefield, he was getting key and some damage. And also, after switch or the transformation ends, he randomly destroys one enemy card when changing cover as well. So right here, so this guy had the strike base knockback, combos into blue cards. We already saw that. And what I was saying earlier, whenever he uses any arts card, he gets some key back and a 15% damage increase for 10 counts. Yeah. Also, this is a fun one too. After he gets hit, depending on the amount of health he has, he's getting an insane buff. If he's below 50, he gets another 60% damage cut or damage increase. But the drawback is this guy is by far the hardest hitting one. The drawback, however, is that he has a time transformation, unlike all of the other ones. Very high risk, high reward. He's the one, him and God can kind of be in any team you want them to be in. The other ones kind of have some more niche teams that they're gonna, or niche allies. You put these two on whatever team you want, right? Now, God is the one that I am the most conflicted about. His main ability to reloads his hand. That's cool. Gives him some key and some health back. I don't see any other effects on anything else, so we're just gonna proceed from there. Post transformation, God. So God is like almost like a blend of 1 and 2. No. A blend of like 1 and 3 almost. God is your master, your jack of all trades, kind of master of none, right? You know how I talked about how each of the other forms, maybe not Super Saiyan 1, but at least 2 and 3 had a very clear niche and playstyle and things that they were exceptionally good at. 2 being a utility character, doing all the stuff you need, aside from like debuffs, like, you know, card cost down, stuff like that, or up on enemies. The green one being, or the Super Saiyan 3 one being a heavy damage output character. God is a character that's, again, able to do some of those things, but not to the same degree. God has a few perks, though, being the newest one. He has Wild Blitz, which is an insane card for him to have, and it's the only green card that's any different. All the other Shallots have a standard, traditional green card. This one is a combo starter. They added Nullify cover change to it. It gives him draw speed and a good amount of key. It combos into basically everything else. This is the one thing that I think keeps him from being at the bottom of my list in terms of characters, of these characters, but we'll get to that in a second. But Wild Blitz is super powerful in relation to all the other ones. His second main here, he draws that Wild Blitz, restores health and key, gets a blue card damage, and cancels enemies' buff effects. Canceling buff effects, another thing the other ones are not doing. This is a very powerful effect because it will take off things like Nullify cover change off the enemies, or it'll take off their immunities and allow them to eat some debuffs from your allies, things like that. So very strong effect to have. Right here, applies the following effects itself after transformation. He has some more things that the other ones aren't having or aren't getting. He gets a lot of key recovery, a solid amount of damage, card cost down, and he gets immunities, right? Different buff effects that he's gonna get. Also, when he enters the battlefield, he'll draw a card. If you have 3 or fewer, restore a key. And then, unlike the other ones, he's getting strike and blast damage, but there is a couple of caveats. It's either or, obviously, but it's only for the next one that you use. The other ones we're getting, if I recall correctly, we'll just double check, they were getting just the buff in general, right? Well, just depends which one you're looking at, I guess. But anyway, it's only for the next card that you use, right? So there is a little bit of a caveat. Also, applies the following effects itself after the enemy's attack is over. Restores health by 10% 3 times, and then also increases his draw speed level for 10 counts and can't be stacked. So this guy, as you see, again, doing a little bit of everything. He's healing, he's getting a little bit less damage, he's picking up other things like the immunities and stuff like that. He picks up more key recovery, some cost down, some draw speed in some spots. He does have that very powerful green card, right? So that's kind of where it's at. But so far, we haven't seen anything that's really blowing you away, right? He just has a lot of stuff that he's doing. Knocks enemy back to long range versus their blast starts now again. So 2 blasts and 2 strikes or something like that on these characters. 3 strikes, 2 blasts. Anyway, for every card he uses, he gets damage and blue card cost down. So again, very, very, very good stuff there. The following effects occur when he performs a vanishing step while this character is on the battlefield, or when the enemy performs a vanishing step. He randomly draws a new card, restores key, reduces damage, and shortens ally subcount. So with God, you have a character that's trying to be the, again, jack of all trades. He's doing a little bit of everything. You know, like he's basically, if you had like this really, really nice like gumbo and you throwing everything up in there, you know, that's what this God is. Now, my only thing with that is that traditionally in this game, when they try to have characters do that, it just basically means that they aren't good enough to do some of the things that they need to do in the right situations. And from my own playtests with Shallot, Super Saiyan God, on paper, due to the sheer amount of things he does, I think that he should be the best. But my answer is that I think that Super Saiyan 3 is the best one here. However, I think Super Saiyan 3 is the best one here for only a short amount of time, especially. Well, it's kind of like this. I think he's by far the best one here in that small window I talked about of like 5 to 10 seconds that he gets post transformation. If you transform at the right time, don't just throw it nilly-willy. With the other ones, you can throw it whenever. You want to transform Super Saiyan 3 in priority, where you have a combo going and established, especially after you've already used your vanish. That's when you transform. Don't throw it, especially because he has a time transformation. Do not throw it whenever, like the other forms, right? So I think by far he's the best one in that small window, but I think it's a lot closer outside of that window, especially when you consider that maybe you need the battle to last a longer time, right? However, he does so much damage that I haven't seen him ever de-transform yet, because he just does so much damage, right? And really at the end of the day, the objective is to kill the opponent, and I think that Super Saiyan 3 is the one that does that the best. Now, I think that for the second spot, it's actually a little bit of a toss-up. I think you could make a strong argument for Super Saiyan 2 or Super Saiyan God. I think that Super Saiyan 2 having the endurance is an insane effect. Like, he would still probably be in this spot without endurance, but having endurance, you can actually, honestly, you can make an argument he's the best one because he has that effect. I don't want to overrate that effect, but that effect is so powerful. Coupling that with the support that he provides, he is going to be super exceptional alongside, like, here's the deal with him. You can put him on any team, but if you put this guy alongside the best characters in the game, he'll still be really good, right? Like, the other ones could be really good, but they are more so dependent on themselves. He will make those other characters look insane. This guy kind of is the same way a little bit too, because his support's really strong. But this guy will make the other characters look insane, and he will provide any team he's on an outlet for a Rising Rush. That's invaluable stuff. Like, that's too valuable stuff. But out of respect, next on my list will be Super Saiyan 2. I'm going to rank him as or Super Saiyan God, excuse me. I'm going to rank it as the second best form, because I do think Super Saiyan God does enough stuff to where you can't overlook it. Like I said, that could be an issue sometimes, where my main gripe with him was he wasn't doing enough damage. Like, he very, very visibly was like the third best one on damage, probably. It's not, and it's really easy to see it. But I do think some of the other stuff that he does is really powerful. So I'm going to give him the second spot, but it's more so like 2A, 2B type thing, where him and Super Saiyan 2 are pretty equivalent in my eyes. However, I think that Super Saiyan 2 probably could have a higher peak. So really, I should put Super Saiyan 2 in spot 2 and Shallot Super Saiyan God in slot 3. So if you want to kind of take that, but yeah. All right, so that means that we have to consider 1 and base. 1 is next, base is at the bottom. So to recap, I'm not really going to go into a full soliloquy on them. I think they're really good for different reasons, but I'm going to put base at the bottom. But anyway, to recap, I think 3 is the best. Really, I think Super Saiyan 2 is actually next. Okay, I'm not going to rip the Band-Aid off. I'm going to put Super Saiyan 2 second, and then I'll put God third, and then I'm going to do 1 in base, right? So again, 3 is number 1. Super Saiyan 2 is number 2. And then God is in the middle at 3. 4 is Super Saiyan 1, and then base at the bottom. I think that you could actually flip-flop some of these characters, and this is the beauty of it and what I was talking about earlier, and how there's actual reason to switch between these forms. I've done it a lot myself. I think you could flip-flop these forms a lot of different ways. I think that depending on what you're doing, if you need a higher damage output character, no matter what the team is, you could go to Super Saiyan 3. If you need an endurance defensive wall that offers utility and support, you're going to Super Saiyan 2. If you're running a Super Saiyan 1 team or something like that, or a game original team, you're going to one of those 2 characters at the bottom of the list. If you need your jack of all trades, if you want to spam greens, this is the thing with the God one that none of the other ones can do, is his green card, right? That's why I said his green card is an insane card, because he can spam it. And if you give him a blue card that draws a green card after, like the TN one I talked about, he can constantly have nullify cover change. That's why I say that he really should be in that upper echelon. Like, you can make an argument for him as the best, you can make an argument for him as second, but for me, in my own personal opinion, the likelihood of that happening is decent. However, the other 2 characters are going to do exactly what I need them to do all the time, right? But the Super Saiyan God, having that Wild Rush or Wild Blitz green card or whatever it's called, is super unique to him because he's the only one that has it, and it's very powerful. So that being said, you can make an argument for him either way, but I do think that my ranking is pretty solid. But I do like that you can switch between the different ones if you need them. So I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Pretty long video, but I hope you guys had some fun with it. I'll see all of you in the next one, guys.